Another weekend has come and gone. It is once again time to talk those juicy box office numbers. But quickly, as always, before we dive into all that, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and let's dive in to some juicy box office numbers. Avatar gave us a much needed boost at the box office. It was the kick in the ass that we needed to send us off into the final weeks of 2022 in this holiday weekend. We were up a staggering 355.1% over last week, taking in $151 million over the top 10, with the large majority of that coming from Avatar: The Way of Water. So we're going to waste no time. We're going to dive right into the top 10 and we're going to take a look and see just how everything shook out. Let's go to the charts. It should surprise absolutely nobody that in first place is Avatar: The Way of Water, taking in a whopping $134 million against a budget of $460 million. That is an absolute staggeringly insane budget for this movie. I don't know if that's literally just for two or if that counts towards some of what three or what all that is, but I don't know how it all shakes out. All I know is that that is what they were saying and reporting for the budget for the second one. So this movie needs to make a lot of money. But I think it's safe to say, based off of this opening weekend, that this movie is absolutely going to make a lot of money. James Cameron movies always have legs at the box office. They are going to just trounce through the next few weeks, just making money. The question is how much money is it going to be able to make week after week after week to bring up to those totals? 134 million opening is a huge and spectacular opening. Definitely in line with where this movie needed to be. I know it came in a little under expectations of what everyone was forecasting for this weekend, but I still think 134 million is right on line with where this movie wants to be to set itself up to make a shitload of money this holiday season. Now, the first Avatar, when it came out, made 77 million in its opening weekend. So just going off of that fact alone, The Way of Water is a win here, managing to take in 134 for the second one. That's good stuff. That's absolutely good stuff right there. I think this movie is definitely going to have legs. It has a great audience score if you look online for everything, and that is a huge indicator of what is going to do well over the holiday season. This is obviously a movie that audiences want to come for. People are going to come for this movie over the holidays when you have your big family groups that are looking for something to see. And some people, you have the family groups where maybe they might be a little bit older, where they don't want to go and sit through Puss in Boots. Avatar is going to be the big family movie that everybody's going to go see this holiday season. So this movie is going to make staggering amounts of money. It will be interesting to see what its drop-off is next week and just how much money it is still able to take in over the holiday weekend. So I can't wait to watch and check along with that. In second place is Black Panther in its sixth week, dropping 52.4%, taking in $5 million to bring its total domestic haul to $418 million off of a $250 million budget. Violent Night in the third spot in its third week, drops 35.6%, takes in $5 million to bring its total domestic haul to $35 million off of a $20 million budget. That movie is making itself a nice little profit there. Strange World in its fourth week drops 41.8%, taking in $2.2 million to take its total domestic haul to $33 million against a disgustingly huge $180 million budget. We'll see you on the biggest bombs chart, my friend. And rounding out the top five is The Menu in its fifth week, dropping 38.6%, taking in $1.6 million to bring its total domestic haul to $32 million off of a $30 million budget. Over on the back five, we've got Devotion in sixth place in its fourth week, dropping 61.5%, taking in $780,000 to bring its total domestic haul to $18 million off of a $90 million budget. This is another one, much like Strange World, that is probably going to be joining the box office bombs. We have Fabelmans next in its sixth week, dropping 36.6%, taking in $743,000 to bring its total domestic haul to $8.6 million off of a $40 million budget. This movie is struggling to make some money back. In eighth place is the re-release of It's a Wonderful Life, its 75th anniversary, managing to take in $734,000, managing to get itself here into the top 10. In ninth place, Black Adam, still holding strong in the top 10 in its ninth week, dropping 66.5%, taking in $445,000 to bring its total domestic haul to $167 million off of a $195 million budget. I don't think this is even going to recoup its budget back on the domestic front here. This is not something we thought we were going to see back when we were first discussing this movie back in October. And rounding us out in the top 10, still holding strong somehow in its third week, is I Heard the Bells, dropping 58.7%, taking in $310,000 to bring its total domestic haul to $4.9 million. Now, the big question for this weekend is going to be, will Avatar be able to put up some good business despite some pretty big openings coming for the holiday season? Mainly its biggest competition being Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which is getting some rave reviews right now and is going to be a big, huge movie for the families with kids. The question is, will Avatar be able to steal away some of those kids to Avatar instead of seeing Puss in Boots? That's going to be a very interesting thing to watch this weekend. I did see Avatar this past week, and I actually saw it twice already. Oh, look who's coming to join us. Puppy, you want to tell everybody what you thought of Avatar? Puppy didn't see Avatar. I saw it this weekend. I saw it twice actually already, once in 3D, once in 2D. I'm not going to go deep into my thoughts on this movie. I'm actually going to be on a podcast that'll be dropping next week that will be going in full on my thoughts about Avatar. So be sure to check out the Link podcast come next Monday for those thoughts on Avatar. We'll link it all down and all that stuff whenever it drops, but you can go check out there for my big exhaustive thoughts on what was a wildly insane movie. And now we take a look over on the worldwide and domestic front. So Avatar making a big splash already on the worldwide charts. We're going to take a look here right now. Top Gun is still king of the mountain with $1.4 billion. Jurassic World right behind it with $1 billion. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness in third with $955 million. You've got Minions Rise of Gru at $939 million. Black Panther Wakanda Forever overtakes The Batman to bring its total to $787 million. The Batman right behind it at $770 or $786. I can't count or read there. Thor Love and Thunder right behind that with $760. Watergate Bridge at 626. Moon Man at 460. And if we look, already debuting in the top 10, the 10th highest grossing movie worldwide already for the year, Avatar: The Way of Water, after one weekend debuts with $441 million. That is a huge total right there to put up right from your first weekend. It really goes to show just how huge Avatar is worldwide as opposed to just domestically. It always does well here domestically, but this movie is an absolute phenomenon worldwide, and it's going to be interesting to see just how much it pulls in from its international markets. We also take a look at our top 10 domestically here. There is no change. Avatar was just outside of being able to debut here into the top 10 domestic, but we take a look at our totals anyway. We got Top Gun Maverick in the first spot with $718 million. You got Black Panther Wakanda Forever at $418. Doesn't look like it's going to be able to come up to Top Gun. It's going to have to settle there for second place, maybe even third, depending on how Avatar does by the end of its run. You got Doctor Strange in third place with $411. Jurassic World Dominion with $376. You got Minions Rise of Gru at $369. You got the Batman right behind that with also $369. Thor Love and Thunder with $343. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 at $190. Black Adam at $167. And Elvis probably enjoying its last week here in the top 10 with $151 million. Now, as always, we'd like to take a look at our fallen heroes. These are our heroes that did their time in the top 10 but have bowed out now for greener passages. We had two movies this week that are bowed out of the top 10. We take a look here at the chart. Spoiler alert, after spending 1 week on the chart, bows out, and Ticket to Paradise, after a whopping 8 weeks in the top 10, has bowed out now. You guys have done your time, you did your say, you made your money, but you're now bowing out for the greener passages. We will see you on home video release and streaming, and as always, we salute you. Now, while Avatar did not make enough to join the top 10 domestic in its first weekend, it was enough to make it join another club, and that is our 2022 blockbuster status club. That is our movies for 2022 that managed to gross over $100 million domestically. We take a look here at the chart. Obviously, if you look, we just went through the whole top 10 domestically, but if you look right behind Elvis, you've got Avatar: The Way of Water sitting right there ahead of Uncharted, Nope, Lightyear, The Lost City, Smile, and Bullet Train. So we had a plethora of hits this year that have managed to gross over $100 million here at the box office domestically. The only question now is this our final list, or will Puss in Boots be able to join it as well? I don't see I Want to Dance with Somebody or Babylon doing it. It's possible. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens in the next 2 weeks of the year to see. But I think the only one that possibly has a chance now is going to be Puss in Boots. But obviously we will wait and see, and you can come back here and chart along with us as we see what is going to do that good good business. And that'll do it for us for this week here on the charts. It was very wild to watch and see just how well Avatar was going to do over this weekend. It's going to be exciting to watch the next few weeks and see how well it does over time and just see how much legs that this bad boy has. Will it hold on just like the last two James Cameron movies with Avatar and Titanic that just managed to run rough shit over the winter? It is going to be a fun winter to watch and see just how much money this movie is able to make. But that'll do it for all of us here in this week. Be sure to check back next week where we go into the holiday box office charts and we see how well these new movies did stacked up against Avatar. But that is for next video. This is the end of this video. Until next time, you have been you, I have been me. These are the movies that we love so much. And until next time, adventure on.